Joe with Mountain Trip, and I want to go through how I rig my sled when we're traveling on the glacier. A couple things before I get into it. When I'm rigging my sled, you'll notice I've got my ice axe plunged in the snow here in some configuration so that my sled can't run away from me. Also, I've got the rigging cord at the end of my sled here, all untied, ready to go. And you can see on my sled, most of the holes I have rigging cord, and so let's see how we're gonna rig it. The thing that will be in my sled every day when we travel is my personal duffel. I use the Patagonia Black Hole Duffel. This is a 100-liter bag. I brought it on at least 6 expeditions and it works well for me. Where we're gonna rig it in the sled is dependent on whether we're traveling up or downhill. So for now, I'm gonna put this in the back of my sled. This bag has things like my extra snacks in it, maybe my crampons, and extra carabiners that I don't need until the upper mountain, things like that. What this doesn't have in it is my personal survival gear, my extra layers, my sleeping bag, my food and water for the day. Anything other than that I have personal gear wise can go in here. If I have extra room, I can use that space to put some of my group gear into, which is going to be food and potentially tents and, you know, cooking stuff, stuff like that. And so if I have extra room, I'll throw that in there. If not, I may have an extra rice bag like this full of food that I'm going to put in the front of my sled. And so let's see how we rig it here. So I'm going to get to the end of the rope here. I want to make sure that every piece of my sled, every piece of gear in my sled is attached to the sled. So to start off, I'm going to thread this through the end of my duffel bag into my little rigging port here. And as I go, I want to keep it somewhat tight. Then I'm going to go back across. And I'm just threading through each one of these holes. Back across over here. And this is going to look different on each sled. Every sled and every guide has different preferences. But we'll try to highlight the key components with this video. So I'm going back and forth through pretty much every one of these side things, making sure this is somewhat tight, but I'm going to tighten it at the end. And then up here, I'll maybe go back through the strap one more time. And with this, I'm going to tie a clove hitch. So I'm going to make a bite crossing right over left, make another bite right next to it, crossing right over left, put the first bite in front of the second. I'm gonna grab some of the bag through there, cinch that tight. Then I'm gonna pass this back through here, back through here. Maybe I can go back through this one again. And then over to here. And then maybe I'm going to finish it right here. So before I tie this off, I want to make sure this is tight enough. And so what I'm going to do is come back to the end, start with the very back, and kind of pull this string tight as I go through, making sure that every leg of it is nice and tight. Nothing's gonna come undone. I might have to readjust this clove hitch. And I'm gonna keep it nice and tight. Boom. All right, so now I'm gonna tie it off right here. I'm gonna do what's called a slip knot. So I'm gonna pass this end through, then I can use my fingers right here to hold that tight. I'm gonna take this bite that I've created here with the tail, pass it around here and through. Now I can pull that tight. I can adjust the length of my bite here, and then with this bite, I'm gonna tie an overhand around all these strands, like so. I can take the extra here and tuck it in, tie it off, whatever is gonna keep it out of my way. And this is just one way to finish the sled. The key here is that I'm rigged to flip. You will experience firsthand when you're on the mountain that these sleds do not always cooperate. And so what I mean rigged to flip is if I take this sled and I play mean with it for a second, are my bags gonna fall out? The answer should be no. Hopefully this video helped you decide what duffel might be good and how we rig our sleds. Thanks for watching.